Hello, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Sarah, and on this channel, I cover anti-MLM and scam commentary. If that is your sort of thing, I would love for you to stick around, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like on this video, and with that, let's get started. Okay, so if you haven't seen my last video, I would recommend starting there. I went over in depth how Bomb Party is pulling people in without them ever realizing that it's an MLM. And the more that I dug into that, the more I just couldn't stop thinking about it, because Bomb Party isn't quietly in the background of MLM culture. It's evolving and shifting and pulling people in who have never been involved in network marketing before. And the more I was thinking about it, the more I was like, one very interesting part to me is the men involved in Bomb Party.
All right, y'all, let's get some diamonds in the chat. Yo, diamonds in the chat, por favor. Tony, thank you for the heartbeat. Tanya, mi amor, gracias por la corazón. Hi, Glenise, good to see ya. Do you need to be here? No, you don't.
All right, y'all, let's do her good. Let's do good.
Grandma, you got a Frankie?
Go in.
We got Sterling Club. Oh, you did get a Frankie, Grandma.
All right.
All right, guys, diamonds in the chat. Yo, diamonds in the chat.
Let's check it out. Yeah.
It really works.
You have an open lineup, y'all.
Okay, Lore.
Use that fizz.
Okay, Lore. This is good.
A lot of these reps are all in. They have the fully branded setup. They have the full stock of inventory behind them, the whole thing. So yes, today we are digging deep on the men of Bomb Party. And I want to say this, I want to be clear. There is absolutely nothing wrong with men selling jewelry. So before we go any further, I just want to clarify that that's not what this discussion is going to be about. The issue isn't men in this space. The issue and the discussion is going to be about how they are using this space differently, how they are selling differently, how they are positioning themselves, and what this can tell us about Bomb Party as a whole. Because when I was looking at how these guys operate, to me, it became very obvious that for most of them, it's not really about selling rings. It's not this passion behind jewelry. For some of them, it appears to just be a business opportunity, an opportunity to make some money. They're seeing this profitable lane and they're taking it. But some of the other guys, they are taking it a step further. They are building a brand. They're pulling in an audience, sometimes a massive audience, and in some cases, making themselves the product just as much as the jewelry. And all of that, that's what makes this so interesting. And what's even more intriguing, I guess, is the way that some of the men ended up here and kind of their stories as to why they're landing on TikTok Live, shilling, fizzing jewelry reveals. First, I want to talk about this guy. This is a husband and wife duo who is selling together, but let's just watch what happens while they're live.
16 years, been together 17, maybe a little over 17.
So I think your mom, Marcy, got a March one already, didn't she? Did she have a March one? Now I can't remember.
I don't remember now.
All right, Miss Rachel. Girl, you're still in the running for Mystery Hostess goodies and all of the good
and ladies,
stuff.
we do have an open lineup. Let us know if there's something.
Oh, there she is.
You'll be 25 years in August. Very nice, Janet. Yeah, it's gone by quick. It really has.
Hi, Marcy.
Hi,
we were
Marcy.
just talking about you.
Yes, it's gone by quick. I mean, I would do it all over again. And but yeah, it's been a great trip so far. You know what? There's been way more good things than bad. And I think if you have a relationship where you're only counting on the bad and can think of the bad, there's a problem with that. I guess I would have to really sit down and think of the negative stuff that's happened in her life. But at the same time, I think I can look at the negative stuff that we've had, the arguments that we've had where she's been wrong, because she's always wrong. And I could think
you are so welcome. One of these days, Miss Rachel, you're going to find your diamond.
Yes. And I could think how those negative things have been turned to something positive. So we could laugh at them. I'm sure we could laugh at all of them. Right? She's always wrong, Janice. I mean, okay, babe, you want to laugh at something right now? Okay, let's laugh at something, okay? And let's laugh let's laugh at some type of road that's made after you.
So Barbara C.
Like we can laugh about that now. We can laugh about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's actually pretty funny.
Barbara C., you're up next.
So, yeah. Okay, sounds good. You're the kids' ring. Yes.
We will ship it to you.
No, Janice, here's the truth. She's not always wrong.
March. What did I say? March kids' ring.
Okay, March kids' ring. They're over here.
We'll let her pick it and then we'll ship it to her and
sounds good.
reveal.
Yeah. So, the funny thing about it is that I truly think that no matter what happened in your life, each person, each party, something just happened.
We got
there.
a puzzle piece. Hold on.
Oh, look at the cute
little lamb.
Yeah, little lamb chop. I think that no matter where you're at in your relationship, I think that when something goes wrong, the truth is when something goes wrong, each party has to take
Ellen will be married 39 years.
You have to take 50% responsibility at the very least because you're both wrong at some point. And,
okay, you ready, Miss Barbara? Here you go. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Pick one of those.
Personally, I think then you have to step up and find a way to make it better. So. I don't really look at it as right or wrong. We're just 6 and 8. Let's just figure it out.
All right. So we will send that off.
Yeah. So she's actively taking orders and kind of doing work. I feel like it is very clear that she's a little bit irritable about the conversation that's happening. And who knows? I mean, they're talking about their marriage. So perhaps it's just kind of like their shtick, the thing that they like, that's maybe how they act. However, this is the chaos of Bomb Party. They are both talking about two totally separate things. The chat is just going. It just feels like she's the one that is clearly working and he is just talking and talking and talking. And I'm not certain, but the account does appear to be his. So I don't know if he's necessarily an actual Bomb Party rep or if it's his wife and that he just helps, but the account appears to be his. It's like he's a guest on her live rather than him being the actual business partner. Now let's move on and let's talk about a different kind of husband and wife team. This next couple has been a part of Bomb Party, according to them, for 6 years. That means that they were doing this well before TikTok Live or even TikTok itself is what it is today.
So come on in. Hey, Kathy. Come on in, guys. Say hey. And don't be shy. Don't bite hard. Just that little nibble. Just a little nibble. So if you order 5 or more items, use the code GLITTER. You get postage on us and a 5-pack perk. If you order 3 items, you get to pick a lip gloss or a lotion. Lip gloss or lotion. So come on in, guys. Welcome in. I am Tentacle Girl, and this is Mr. Honey. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome. So we are a BP husband and wife team. So April is our 6-year anniversary with BP. So we've been around for a minute. We're one of the oldies. We're vintage. We're vintage. Vintage.
So that is just a very different example compared to the first couple that I just wanted to show. And also whoa, 6 years that they've been with Bomb Party. As I was thinking of that, I was I'm assuming that means that before TikTok, maybe they were selling in Facebook groups like what LuLaRoe used to do, maybe even in-person events. I'm not entirely sure of the lore of Bomb Party. But now TikTok has fully changed the game for this company. And just from what I can tell, this particular couple, even though they have been around for a while, it doesn't necessarily seem like they are thriving. At least in this particular live that I caught, there was very few people in there. You can tell it's a lot different of an energy than some of the other reps that we watched. And this is probably a conversation for a different day, a different video. But I just have to wonder how much TikTok has saved this company. Again, different day, different video. Let's move on. Now, this is kind of where a rep who is a guy, it for me starts to feel a little this is a dad who is selling on a TikTok live at 11 p.m. I recorded this screen recording myself. It was 11 o'clock at night where I live. I'm not entirely sure what time zone they're in. I'm in Central Time Zone. It was 11 p.m. on a Tuesday that I recorded this. He is on his live. Someone in the chat asks to say hi to his daughter. Here's what happens.
We're at 129.75, you guys. 129.75. So come on in. Oh, April said, "Oh I needed to see her today. You better come say hi." Miss April's your biggest fan.
I'm sleepy.
You're sleepy. You ain't sleepy.
Yes, I am.
You're so full of it.
Sleepy.
You're so full of it.
If we are sleepy,
That just... it seems a little bit off to me. She says she's tired. He says, no, you're not. I don't know. In this case, it very much feels like the child is regularly brought into the TikTok lives. I just make that assumption solely because there's someone in the chat that says that they want to see her. And that it can be a common thing for reps, especially ones who are mothers. They will sometimes have their kids there. And that is especially apparent when we have women reps who utilize their children, because this one that we just watched is on a one-off. We also have this.
I'm moving me a desk here. Looks like April's gonna be the big thing, so that I can work with you.
Me. Una is next.
Una is next.
Una's
She
next.
got April size 8 and a necklace.
Give me the 8 first. We'll do it
For
first.
you to pick or no?
I don't know. Miss Una, are you picking?
Put this back.
I encourage you to pick. Looking for me. Yes, he came looking for me.
Here's your 8s.
He made a way, but there was a way that I could see. I drifted so far, Jesus was near. My soul is now safe from all.
She picking?
I'm at the. Yep, she'll pick, please.
Perfect.
Looking
And Una, I'm putting you in 2 more tickets.
So some of these parents aren't just bringing their kids randomly into the lives. For some of them, their kids are doing the lives. And in that respect, I believe that that is what is happening there. I believe that that guy's mom is the rep and he is helping her. I have no idea if he is actually a bomb party rep himself or if he's just helping with his mom's business. And I know that compared to the last clip that we watched, this kid is clearly older. He may even be like a legal adult. But the point is that he's doing the job of his mom for the most part. She's clearly doing some stuff in the background, but he is being the face of this particular TikTok live. Like he's fizzing the jewelry, he's interacting with the chat, and then his mom is seemingly just kind of doing the background work. And I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if this is a common thing that they do. But to me, it starts getting those things working in my brain where it's like, what is the angle here? Why do we have the motivation to put a guy in front of the camera on these TikTok lives? Did she maybe think and realize that he would attract more viewers? Or maybe it was just easier for her to put him front and center? But either way, for this particular live that we caught, he is the selling point. He's the one in front of the camera. And this is what got me really thinking is at what point does it stop being convenience or just helping your mom out or helping your wife out or whoever it might be and start becoming a strategy? Because it really looks like for this guy, the seller's son is likely the reason that people are tuning in. And then finally, there is this one. And this is a rep who is answering some questions in the chat, and they are essentially talking about his life. And he goes on to discuss a relatively low point in his life. This is what he says.
I had my heat shut off on me. I was boiling water on the stove to give the kids baths. I was having a hard time making ends meet. Well, I wasn't. That was the problem. And the thing is, and at that point in my life, I was accepting the excuses. I was being negative. And actually, another guy that I actually looked up to and respected, he looked at me and he said, Brandon, why are you wasting your life at this dead-end job? I'm here. He made good money. He's like, I'm here just to get out of the darn house. He doesn't have to work. He flat out said, he's like, Brandon, you're too skilled. You're too talented. Your salesmanship is your strong suit. And, I took that to heart. And he said, get out of here. Quit wasting time. And I got back to doing what I love. Your boy is messing with Mama P. Good. She needs it. Is Mama P live? Ladies and gentlemen, hang on. All right. So, for those of you that don't know, my mom is a fizzer too. And if you don't have a pen and pencil, GEMS. All right, we are going to go ducky raid her. So what a ducky raid is you go in there and you do hashtag ducky raid. And you know what? I'm going to guarantee you, It will light up her night. There you go. Hidden. I know it's backwards, but at least you can see the logo. She is live. Let's go Ducky Raid Mama P. Let's show her some love.
This one felt really worth including, at least for me, because he's talking about what sounds like a really low point in his life. And then he had someone who kind of came and gave him like a pep talk, which sounded really meaningful for him. But then it landed him in bomb party. And then we go on to find out that his mom is a fizzer, meaning she's another bomb party rep, which makes me maybe it's a leap to say, but I have the assumption that she was a rep and then she recruited her son, who is also now a rep, so that he's in her downline. They're both live at the same time. He is sending people in his chat over to her live to leave stuff in the chat. So at this point, it's kind of impossible to ignore the way that some of these men, or I assume maybe even a majority of these men, get involved in bomb party. They have someone in their life who is a rep and then recruits them, and they may see it, like I said, as a business opportunity for some of them. Maybe they genuinely have an interest in this, but it's intriguing, right? So when we look at all of this, I was thinking to myself, like, what does this tell me? I can feel that it's intriguing. I can feel that there is something here that is interesting that I'm not seeing happen in other MLMs. And I think that at its core is that if you are a guy and you are stepping into bomb party, you instantly stand out. And in MLMs, standing out is everything. Because think about it. In MLMs, everyone is selling the same thing. They're selling those things at the same price point with nearly identical sales pitches. The only way to make consistent sales and build a team is by getting noticed and staying memorable. And on TikTok, where bomb party is so oversaturated, standing out isn't just helpful. It is essential. It is the only thing that these people are going to be able to do to be successful in this company. Because as we've seen, as you're just scrolling through TikTok Live, I can almost guarantee you have run into a bomb party rep fizzing jewelry on TikTok Live. And often they're all fizzing jewelry from the same collections, especially when a new collection drops. They've all pre-ordered it. They're all fizzing it live, sometimes around the same time of day. They have the same inventory, the same selling points, and even like similar backgrounds or backdrops and setups. So when a man jumps into the scene, he is instantly perceived as different. He is going to catch attention simply by being unexpected. And just in my opinion, I don't believe that any of them are signing up because they just love to sell jewelry or that they just love the product. Because if we're honest, like that's not what drew them here. Instead, they likely recognized that their novelty alone is going to make them stand out in a very crowded space. And by standing out, they aren't going to attract just casual viewers. They pull in curiosity and engagement and ultimately loyalty. And in a market that is flooded with sellers offering the exact same thing, having even the smallest edge can completely transform your business. So not only has bomb party seemingly, in my opinion, modernized multi-level marketing, they have figured out how to make it into entertainment, more so than even other MLMs who have attempted to do this live selling thing. Again, at least in my opinion. It's not even about how many rings or pieces of jewelry a seller can sell. It is about how much attention that they can attract and how long they can keep people watching and how invested their audience becomes in their world. Instead of relying on things like home parties or catalog orders, Bomb Party has completely flipped the script. They have taken direct sales and made them into high energy, seemingly high impact live events on a public platform. And I think that makes a difference. I had a lot of people comment on my last video saying, this reminds me of LuLaRoe. And I do agree that it is very similar. However, in saying that, a lot of the things that were happening with LuLaRoe were in private Facebook groups. I'm sure some of them were in public Facebook groups. But right now, what we are seeing is the TikTok algorithm is pushing lives, meaning they are pushing these things upon people who have no idea that this is an MLM, and their curiosity and intrigue is getting the best of them, and then they get hooked. And the men that are selling this jewelry through a live MLM model and are often fully embracing the influencer aspect of this, it stands out. It just does. They are building brands, they are putting on a show, and they are cultivating dedicated audiences. And honestly, that is what is so I hesitate to say captivating, but it is, but also how concerning that this is. The men in Bomb Party aren't just selling rings, they are selling themselves. And once you start seeing that, it is impossible to ignore how much deeper this goes than just jewelry. I really cannot stop thinking about Bomb Party and the men that are involved in this company. Like that couple that I showed you before, the ones that have been in for 6 years. They were in it before TikTok. They were probably, like I said, just doing Facebook groups, perhaps even selling just by word of mouth. But if you watch their live now, it's quiet. Barely any viewers. It kind of appears to be relatively uneventful. All of that to say, it is basically nothing like the very high energy that we are getting from reps today. MLMs have always followed a similar formula. They've had home parties, personal connections, women selling to their friends and family. But as we've seen, Bomb Party has flipped that script. It's about that instant entertainment at your fingertips, the impulse buying, the gambling aspect. And clearly, for a lot of reps and for a lot of buyers, this shift is working. Not necessarily for that couple we just looked at, definitely for those sellers who have fully embraced that entertainment-driven style. I mean, look at this. This doesn't appear to be a casual side hustle. This guy has stacked shelves of Bomb Party inventory. And based on that video, it gives off the vibe of not just doing it because they have the passion of selling jewelry. And we will see with men in Bomb Party the way that the sales and everything kind of unfolds, how the chat engages with them. It isn't just different from MLMs in general. It is also different from other Bomb Party reps who are women. And not all of these men are selling in the same way. Some of them are basically mimicking what the female reps are doing. They have like a friendly demeanor, they are engaging with the chat, but they're not like overly performative.
Fight? Most impressive. Is this one? Hey, come on, everybody. Hearts and diamonds, everybody. Let's show some love here. Come on now. All right, she got her order in. Okay, Bailey. I do too. I want to see when Liz is talking to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I am doing beautiful. How are you?
You're doing beautiful.
I'm doing.
She's doing beautiful. How are you? Hi, Jeanette.
I'm reading the message. I'm sorry.
That's us old people. You know, you get old like that.
This guy is a good example. He's not being weird or creepy or flirty. He's just talking to people in the chat. I assume that's his wife that he's talking to in the background. And honestly, his TikTok live audience seems to love that. You can see that there is over 200 people who are watching this TikTok live. There are people that are in the comments that are chatting. So you can tell being a man in a female-dominated space, it stands out. And I think that this is a really good example of what this conversation sort of brings up. Some of these guys don't have to really do anything super outrageous. Just the fact that they're a man can make them pull an audience. And I will say, obviously, he's doing something a little special in that his green screen is him inside of a spaceship, which is funny and interesting. But then we go on and we can see reps who almost just don't look like they want to be there.
Yeah, my wife does. How close do you guys all live together? I live, I'm like 5 minutes away from Cali, like 15, 20 minutes from our parents. We're both on one side of town and my parents on the other side. Miss Ashley, for your size 10, this is Wow Them Darling. Lab coat Pink Rose Carrera.
So some men in Bomb Party are like very much leaning into it. They're leaning into the chat, into the engagement, into their personalities. But then there's other reps like this guy who looks like he was dragged into it. From what he said and from what I've gathered, his wife is a Bomb Party rep, and his sister, who was the one that was in that dual video, his sister is also a rep. And I believe that she was there just based on kind of my observations, is that his sister was there dancing like that because he clearly was extremely uncomfortable. This is something that I assume is very out of his wheelhouse. He's not at all performing. He's kind of just chit-chatting with the chat and revealing the ring. And to me, he just looks very uncomfortable, like he would rather be anywhere else. So I think for that example, it is clear that not every guy is here because they just love the jewelry. Some of them are clearly here to build out a team, to be a downline for someone who their upline is a family member. In this case, either his wife or his sister. So for him, I don't think the passion is fizzing jewelry. I think it's the business opportunity. And then on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, we have the guys that go all in on their performance.
Full sleeve, here we go. Kind of like a pool party and saying it's shot o'clock. Then I play shots, and then I play fireball. All right, slow fizz. That's okay. We got Sterling Club. Oh, one and go. Hey, let's take it out. Yeah.
And on its face, that doesn't make me uncomfortable. It's just based on what I've seen of people in his chat engaging with him. It's this young guy in Bomb Party, and the people that are in his chat are just saying some things that to me seem a little weird. Comments, the engagement, it just gives off that vibe of like, and this is where Bomb Party takes things into a whole new territory. It seems like the women are building a community, but when it's a man behind the camera, it's a show. When a guy is selling these rings on a live stream, people are not always there just for the jewelry. There is that extra layer of intrigue that we've discussed. There's also some flirtation, and in some cases, maybe it's not intentional. In other cases, it is absolutely happening and is very clear to everyone who is watching it. I have a lot more to say on that, but let's keep moving. So when we think about how MLMs used to work at people's houses, you know, they'd bring you over, you'd have like appetizers, maybe a wine night, a rep would come over, put out their display, maybe there would be like a makeup party, a skincare party, or I guess in this case, like a jewelry reveal. But if you imagine a man doing that, it isn't as traditional. In my experience, I hadn't ever had that happen. Have I been to MLM parties before? Absolutely. Those were so common when I was growing up. It was never a rep who was a guy. But online, it is changing the game. A man selling jewelry on a TikTok live isn't a guy who is awkwardly trying to host like a jewelry party. He's just a guy on the internet. And it's like suddenly the social barriers that would have made that kind of awkward or uncomfortable in real life, they don't really exist anymore. The screen is like seemingly stripping away that awkwardness. So for that clip that we just watched, he's not solely selling jewelry. You get that vibe, that high energy. He is an entertainer and people are tuning in to watch. In a traditional MLM, it is my belief that a man trying to sell jewelry in person like this, almost like it would be a little bit awkward or that they've kind of stepped in a space that wasn't initially made for them. And I don't mean at all to be offensive. I'm just trying to put myself in that position of what that might have been like in an in-person event. But I say again that online, that awkwardness disappears. In most MLMs, sales success has always been built on building those personal relationships. Female reps are often like putting in that work to form connections, to build loyalty, and to like make every customer feel special. But on a live stream, that individual connection is not really needed. It's just about drawing in an audience. And if a man can do that, if he can stand out, pull in a crowd, be engaging, he doesn't necessarily need to build those one-on-one connections that female reps have had to do for so long in this industry. He just has to be fun to watch. And then there's the bigger question. If MLM success is moving away from direct selling and is instead transitioning to this influencer style entertainment. What does that mean for the future of these businesses? For decades, a majority of MLMs have been dependent on women bringing in their friends, bringing in their sisters, bringing in their coworkers, and they build their downlines based on those personal connections. But we're seeing here in Bomb Party, you don't actually need that traditional recruiting model. You can just go viral. And if that is the new formula, we all need to be on the lookout, because if this keeps working and this keeps growing, you can bet that other MLMs are going to follow suit. And I have to wonder, if these men are succeeding in a space that women have spent years trying to make work, what does that say about who actually gets ahead in these businesses? And that is going to bring us to our most important example of all, Wolf Den. Because if there's one seller that is proving that personality can drive success, it is this guy.
But tap that screen, y'all. Tap it good. You got your high heels on. I hope you.
Ooh, good luck kisses. And that was a sultry kind of.
Let's go, Lisa.
This guy is not just another Bomb Party seller. He has built an entire persona around Wolf Den. The branding, the energy, the way that he interacts with people, it is on another level. And once you see it, you will get exactly what I mean. Now, I should say, I don't normally include the names of people in my videos, but in this case, his brand name is the foundation of his entire business. He has created like this identity around the Wolf Den Bling Studio. It's in his marketing, it's in his merch. Yes. There is merch. It's in his recruitment strategy. It is the brand that he is actively promoting. So to fully understand how he's built this following, we need to talk about Wolf Den as a brand, not just the person. So this guy runs Wolf Den Bling Studio, where technically he sells jewelry. But if you watch his lives, especially the older ones, he's not just selling the jewelry, he's selling himself. His whole brand is built around this persona. There is a theme, there is a character, there is an audience who is heavily invested in him. And this audience, he calls them his pack. He will growl at them, and you can purchase a soundbite of said growl for $4.99. There's the regular Wolf Den growls, and there's even a pleasure growl, which is described as art, beauty, and power in the primal sounds of fantasy. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to purchase that, but I guess $4.99 is relatively reasonable, but I do have this as an example.
Wow.
Okay. But it doesn't stop there. He has mugs on his merch store that say simmer down, so you can, quote, take a sip and listen for the growls. There's notebooks, there's hoodies, there's stickers. And if someone wants to sell merch and if someone wants to buy that merch, that's great and that's fine. But we need to talk about this in relation to the fact that he's involved very heavily in an MLM. Because at this point, it's not just about Bomb Party anymore. He is building a brand around himself. He, I assume, began by monetizing these jewelry reveals, built an audience, and then is now monetizing that parasocial relationship. And I feel confident in saying that when we look at the conversations between him and his audience. For example, this clip from one of his lives.
Okay, this one don't want me to get into it. Good Lord. What's happening here? I gotta manhandle it, y'all. Thank you, Rosebud. She's sassy. This one is sassy. Alrighty, 1, 2, and 3. Boom. Ooh! You got some tuggers, honey. You better watch the man in your life. He don't tug on your ears. If he does, send him to the Wolf Den. Unless you like that kind of thing. So good. So good. It was all in the moment. Rose gold plating.
So someone got a pair of hoops and he calls them tuggers. Is that a thing? And his immediate response was, better watch the man in your life. If he tugs on your ears, send him to the wolf. Unless you like that kind of thing. It's these kind of like offhanded comments that I guess aren't like 100% outwardly flirty, but they're definitely like borderline, and they create that energy. You know what I mean? It's suggestive enough to keep people engaged. And even if it's not meant to be flirty towards this one buyer, it, I assume, makes the audience feel like they're a part of, like, I guess, like an inside joke. And that's the thing. This whole brand appears to be built on this vibe. It's either like intentional flirting or it's part of the inside joke of like, that's just the way that we talk to people here. And we will watch many more clips, but I hope you kind of are getting the picture of like, this isn't just another bomb party rep. He is a character. And the more that we're going to watch, the more that I think you're also going to feel that jewelry is just a backdrop for something else that's kind of going on. And because this is an MLM, you are incentivized to build a team, not solely sell a product. So he is recruiting, and his downline isn't just a downline. It is branded as the Animal Kingdom team. So it's not just that like, join my team. It kind of feels like it's part of something bigger. Taps into that feeling of belonging, which, if you know anything about MLMs, is a huge part about what makes them work. That community aspect, that feeling of having a place to be, having a place that you belong.
Oh my god! Oh my god, he's in here! What are you doing? I can't do it that many times. Rawr! He's in here, ladies! Oh my god, you came in here. Vilma, he's in here. Rawr is in here. He did the Rawr thing to me like 5 times in a row. Where's my husband? He is famous. All the ladies love him. Even my husband. It's like Elvis came in the room. And we all freaked out. Oh my god, he gave me a motorcycle. I got a motorcycle.
And I hope that that right there kind of drives this whole intro of him home. That isn't just another customer who is reacting to him. That is a fellow bomb party rep. She's revealing jewelry just like he does. But the second that he pops into her chat, that energy shifts. She's giggling. She's visibly excited. She's telling people in her chat like, oh my gosh, he's here. And even likening his appearance to Elvis showing up. And why does that matter? Because in most MLMs, other reps don't normally act like this. They might support or even admire like top sellers, but this feels different. It shows that a lot of his success isn't just because of Bomb Party, it's because of him. He has built a reputation that is so strong that even other reps are craving his validation. And that is just another example that what he's selling isn't just jewelry or even the business opportunity, it's status. And that's where I really started wondering how much of Wolf Den's success is about the product and how much of it is about him. Would people be as engaged if it was another rep? Would they be as engaged if this was a female with a similar persona? Because this doesn't feel like it's just about Bomb Party anymore. It is about attention. And once you start looking at it that way, the whole dynamic starts to make a lot more sense. So let's talk about who is actively engaging in Wolf Den's content. Because from what I have seen, a lot of the comments don't even talk about jewelry. I found one woman who said that she was actively searching for him all day. She said, I sent you a message too. I was looking for you all day yesterday and couldn't find you. I've watched others and I enjoy yours the best. Another customer does actually mention the jewelry. She says, my first time ordering. I can't wait to have you reveal it. And then if we move away from anything even related to the business side of things, there's engagement like this. I always tell you, looking great in a hat, especially backwards. There's another one that says, show us that Speedo, you and that Speedo on vacation. This one says, has anyone ever said they think you're sexy? And he responds, no, never. She responds back, well, you are. And then there's this, my body is ready alpha. I'm hoping that some of these are out of context. Some of them I came upon on my own. Some of them I came upon in a subreddit. So the my body is ready alpha, not sure what that's about. Definitely uncomfortable reading it. So as we see in those comments alone, this is not about bomb party. This is not about fizzing jewelry. This is about Wolf Den. One thing I will say is that I found it very interesting. There's definitely seemed to be a shift that has happened and the way that he is interacting with his chat now, especially in comments on like his feed that aren't like on a TikTok live that he's posted to his TikTok feed. He doesn't interact with everyone. He doesn't respond to everything. For example, there's this one woman who says, they say, I just have to say this. This is the only time I have wish I have lived in your country because such charming man like you I would like to see here in Sweden. Have a great evening and all the best to you and your family members. And he did actually reply to their first comment. It was just like a simple emoji response. But when she followed up with that, he doesn't respond to that. And this isn't like a one-off thing. I went through a lot of comments and it kind of seems to be the thing is that these women are commenting on his stuff and he very rarely is like actively engaging with them. He may send like a few word response or an emoji response, but it's not so much of him talking back and forth with them. It almost feels like this minimal effort and like a little bit calculated. He's not like fully ignoring them, but he's also not genuinely interacting with them. And I can't say for sure, but I almost wonder, is this like leaving breadcrumbs to keep the intrigue, to keep the mystique, to keep them interested so that they will show up on these TikTok lives and hopefully purchase from him? And I will say that I have definitely noticed that things in terms of the flirty content have slowed down. If you look back into the archives of his feed from a few years ago, the content, let's just say, was very different than what it has been recently. I have a few guesses as to why that may have happened, but it's just worth noting that there has definitely been a noticeable shift. He used to post like a lot of these lip sync videos and now not so much. It's usually just videos about him saying like, hey, I'm going to be going live soon. At the end of the day, this is just what I'm observing, but it did feel worth mentioning this and including this part because it could be that it is part of the performance, that ability to get people interested and to kind of toe that line of like, hey, yeah, I will interact with you, but like if you come on my live, I'll actually talk directly to you. Because the people on the other side of the screen, those people are real. Those people that are commenting, those are real people who are likely invested in him and may even be invested in buying jewelry through him as a rep of Bomb Party. They are watching him. They are maybe even likely spending money and they are investing emotionally. And again, I can't say for sure, but to me, very much feels like it's part of this act. And this is just another thing in a long list of things that stands out to me with Bomb Party. This kind of engagement does not happen in other MLMs. Most MLM reps in companies like Monat, Sensi, Plexus, they are working actively. They are working very hard to build connections to get people to either buy from them as customers or to join their team. They are constantly responding to customers. They're in their comments responding to people. They are hyping up their buyers. I feel like I see every day a Monat rep who is talking about their VIP customers. That's what I feel like is their strategy, is you make people feel valued and then they'll come back. But Wolf Den, for example, is flipping that entirely upside down. Instead of making his audience feel close to him, he's keeping them at a distance. He's not fully ignoring them, but he's also not completely engaging with them. It's just enough to keep them wanting more. And that's what makes this so interesting, because in most MLMs, the goal is connection. But here, it feels like it's exclusivity, and it's not just his customers who are caught up in this. It is the people in his inner circle too. If you watch his lives long enough, you will start to recognize the same name, the same mods that keep showing up time after time. They are the same people who are managing his Facebook group. They are helping to keep his brand alive. They're the ones that are hyping him up. And there are at least a couple of them who are very invested in him. And I don't know for sure if he is encouraging that or just letting it happen. But whatever is happening, it is working in his favor. Again, this is where Bomb Party seems like it's more than just a business. For him, it seems to be about creating that mystery, just enough emotional investment, just enough exclusivity to keep people showing up. And once I saw that, I really started to look at all of this very differently. And the way way that he is engaging with customers is only one piece of the puzzle, because I want to touch back on the recruitment part of this. Like I mentioned before, you can join to be a part of the Animal Kingdom team. And sometimes for some of the reps, if you join his team, he will make that into content like we see here.
She's a brand new fizzer on the Animal Kingdom team. Make sure you guys give her a follow, okay?
Thank you.
Wonderful. Ooh, right on my nose.
Good thing you blew it earlier.
You're warming my nose up. There she is. She will love it. So cute. Alrighty, here is. This sucker's heavy. Good luck.
Thank you. Oh, he won.
Oh my God, you got the Jaguar.
Ah, no way.
The Jaguar. No flipping way. Let's go. Ooh, we won. Just like old.
So for that, I don't know if that rep knows him personally, but based on how they are talking in this clip, it feels like there's already some sort of familiarity, or at the very least, like a parasocial relationship. I just wonder if she's been watching him and now she's a part of this and just watching it play out in real time. It's just a lot. And this is where it starts to feel different about recruiting when it comes to women recruiting versus men recruiting. In a lot of MLMs, we will see women frame this as like, look what this business has done for me. It can do the same for you. It's about independence. It's about time freedom. It's about financial freedom. It's about being in control of your future. But when guys like this guy from the Wolf Den do it, the message sort of seems to shift. It's not about just selling jewelry. It's about being in his world. And that's what makes it stand out to me. It's not just an MLM pitch. It's about being in his inner circle. The business itself feels secondary to the connection that people feel with him. All of that to say, the appeal is not selling jewelry. It's about being one of his people. And that subtle difference really matters, because often when a female rep is recruiting, the goal is to get them up and running. I almost wonder if when someone joins Wolf Den's business, it doesn't feel like it's about their business. Feels like it's about him growing his. His brand is expanding. His team is getting bigger. His movement is getting bigger. And when I watch interactions like this, I just keep wondering, are people signing up because they want to sell this jewelry or because they want to be a part of his space? At this point, to me, Wolf Den's downline doesn't even function like a team in an MLM. It's almost like a sub-MLM within Bomb Party, where the real product isn't the business opportunity or even the rings. It is the connection to him. And when MLMs start selling status instead of products, that is where things get even messier. At its core, Bomb Party doesn't appear to be running on relationships. It's running on entertainment. And if you had to choose between a rep who has built an entire brand based on themselves or one that is just run by a typical MLM rep, which one seems more exciting? Because that's the thing. This is still an MLM. They're still just selling jewelry, but they also seem to be selling this idea of belonging to something bigger. And for a lot of people, when they're seeing these things, especially for those people that don't realize that this is an MLM, they're going to want to be involved, and it's going to turn into something that is more than just starting a business. It's less about Bomb Party and a lot more about him. Jewelry, the business opportunity, and even the business structure. It all takes a backseat to the real draw, and that is access to Wolf Den. His followers are not just shopping, they are trying to get his attention. And remember when I mentioned earlier about the people closest to him, like his moderators, might be especially affected by this dynamic? Well, look at this. This is one of Wolf Den's own moderators who posted this publicly. And then there's also this. Yeah, I don't even know what to make of this. It's obviously very openly flirtatious, and it's like so uncomfortable to watch. And that isn't just some random fan. Like I said, that is a moderator on his TikTok lives. The second one, I believe, is an older video, but the first one, I'm pretty sure, is relatively recently. But I felt like it was worth including because it shows just how deeply invested some of these people seem to be with him and how that dynamic might influence the way that his audience engages with him and how his business in Bomb Party performs. So if you're still wondering if Bomb Party has blurred the lines between MLM sales, influencer culture, and personal relationships, I think that this is proof. At this point, does this even function like a typical MLM? Or is it something that's closer to what like influencers do to monetize that parasocial relationship with their followers? Like, let's think about platforms like Twitch or Cameo. People will pay money to get like a response to you, and Wolf Den's audience may not be explicitly paying for his attention, but when you watch his TikTok lives, you really can't ignore how much of that dynamic feels so similar to those platforms like Twitch and Cameo. And the TikTok grifting system only adds to this. His audience can send him these virtual gifts, which convert to real money to help them get noticed. And even beyond those gifts, it goes deeper than that. Wolf Den doesn't only rely on jewelry sales or these digital TikTok gifts. He also branched out into selling merch, and that merch is directly tied to this persona of Wolf Den. I know his real name. I'm not going to use his first name, but it feels weird to call him Wolf Den, but I've already gotten this far. We're just going to continue calling him Wolf Den. On his merch store, he does have a spicy short story ebook, and I want to be clear, selling adult content or just like merch in and of itself is not inherently bad, of course. But the reason that this feels different, and in my opinion, it feels concerning, is because it's clearly intertwined with this persona that he has grown a platform on associated with an MLM. The branding is consistent across the board. His TikTok lives for Bomb Party are branded with wolves everywhere. He literally calls his audience his pack. Even the clothes that he's wearing on streams, like this t-shirt that says simmer down and it has a wolf graphic. And then there's the simmer down Bitmoji that subscribers can use on his TikTok lives. It's the exact same branding that's on his merch store. Everything is linked together under this Wolf Den persona. He's not just another content creator selling merch on the side. His income isn't just from these jewelry sales. It is from keeping his audience, in my opinion, emotionally invested. And when you mix MLM recruitment with branding like this, branding that leads into fantasy and intimacy, it is going to get messy. It, I believe, already has gotten messy. The lines have started to blur, and it is very concerning. And I did check, and the link to his merch store is no longer linked in his bio. So I don't know if that means he's not actively selling those items. I found the merch store through like a quick Google search, so it does still exist. And I honestly even debated if I should bring all of that up, but I ultimately decided that it does still matter because it's highlighting how tangled up all of this has become, how much Bomb Party, his personal branding, the influencer side of it have all started to fully overlap. Because as we've seen at the end of the day from him, people are not just buying this jewelry. They seem to be buying into him, into the persona, the experience, the feeling of being a part of something. And that's what I really feel uncomfortable about. When people start to get this emotional connection, they stop questioning things. They may not see Bomb Party as an MLM, you know, they may push past those feelings that they have about MLMs and consider joining this business so that they can have that connection to Wolf Den. So that is what makes this so different. Most MLMs are following a pattern. Someone recruits you by telling you how much the business has changed their life. Maybe they will make promises of financial freedom or time freedom. And even if you don't know much about MLMs, most people nowadays recognize the playbook of it. Their spidey senses start tingling of like, Something about this seems a little scammy, but Bomb Party isn't doing that. No one is aggressively pushing the opportunity. There is rarely a hard sell, on TikTok at least. It does happen sometimes, but it is infrequent. Instead, it's the entire atmosphere. It's those high energy live shows, the entertainment value, the way that it looks fun and almost effortless. They don't have to say, hey, join my team. The setup is the pitch. And with Wolf Den, it goes even further. To me, in my opinion, for him, it's not just about selling the rings. It's about keeping people engaged. The comments, the gifts, the viral moments. That's what really seems to be driving his success. Whether or not someone actually buys jewelry may not even entirely matter. As long as people are watching, he's likely just going to make money. And that's why this is so concerning. I have heard from so many people that had no idea that Bomb Party was an MLM. That's how much this formula has changed. But that's the thing, it's still MLM. It's just been repackaged as entertainment. And I worry that by the time people realize what's actually going on and what they have signed up for, it's already going to be too late. They've already invested. They've already spent their money. And to them, at that point, it may not even really matter. It may not register that this is an issue. They've likely spent hours already watching these TikTok lives. They may have already even purchased something. They feel like they understand how it works. So when that idea of joining comes up, it doesn't feel like a big decision. It may just feel like the natural next step. Like, well, I'm already here. I know how this goes. It seems so fun. Maybe I should just do it. And that is how Bomb Party is seemingly hooking people in. They don't have to push this recruitment aggressively. The entire setup is doing the work for them. By the time someone even considers signing up, they already feel like they're halfway in. At this point, it is clear that Bomb Party is not just another MLM. It is not part of the game that we have seen for so long. They have tapped into entertainment. They've tapped into personality. They've tapped into influencer culture. And they've done it in a way that other MLMs haven't. And it seems to be working. And that is exactly why we are talking about it. And that is why I plan to continue talking about it, because it's happening with Bomb Party, and I can be sure that it's going to continue happening with other companies, because MLMs rarely innovate. They replicate. Bomb Party wasn't the only one, or maybe even the first one doing this. A lot of people are already aware of pearl parties. That was a big time in like 2020 on TikTok, where people were opening shells and getting pearls out. It had that mystery reveal aspect, and Bomb Party has gone into that head first, and it is seeming to do well. So if Bomb Party's high energy, chaotic TikTok live format is working so well, it will not be long before other MLMs copy it. They will turn their sales into a fast, entertainment-based approach. But the real story here, and the thing that I hope will stick with you, is the dynamic of men selling like this. They are stepping into a space that wasn't necessarily designed for them, and they are doing it differently, and they are changing the dynamic. They aren't quietly selling jewelry on the side. They are building brands. They are creating dedicated followings, and they are blurring the lines between MLM sales and that influencer style entertainment. This matters because historically MLM reps have been women, especially those in the jewelry space, and they have relied on personal connections, recruiting in other women. But as we've seen, Bomb Party has shifted that entire focus to like the potential of going viral. Reps aren't even necessarily going out of their way to recruit. That TikTok live opportunity is selling itself. And that is an incredibly powerful but also dangerous shift, because when MLMs stop being about the product and start becoming about the person that is selling it, those reps aren't necessarily having to work on just getting more customers or getting more people in their downline. They really only have to worry about making fans, building a dedicated fan base. And when you're a fan, you are more likely to stop questioning motives. You'll stop questioning the business model, and you may even stop questioning ethical concerns. You are buying into a person, a brand, a fantasy, and that can make you extremely vulnerable. So that is why I cannot stop thinking about Bomb Party. Not because it seems like they've cracked the code on something brilliant, but because I think that they have figured out something deeply concerning. And honestly, we all need to keep watching to see where this goes. And with that, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please consider leaving a like on the video, and especially if you would consider leaving a comment on the video. I promise it really does help, and it helps to build out this relatively relatively new channel. And of course, if you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!